Disclaimer. None of the songs, including intro, artworks, including thumbnail, or characters in the video are mine. This is not an accurate portrayal of the characters. This is not a defamation of character either. This is only for entertainment. Warning. Foul language, grammatical mistakes, typographical errors. Oh right, I'm HaikyuuxKnB. What do you mean Gek? Get your butt here now. Your photoshoot is starting in 30 minutes and we're already 2 models short. We don't need you running off somewhere we can't find you to. Boobert. But. Here. Now. But Mirachi, I was just looking at the shoe. It looks really cool. See? Plus I made new friends. The girl, Miri, a short, really short, chubby girl, not once took her eyes away from Kise as she stomped towards them with small fast steps. It would have been adorable if she wasn't so intimidating. She had what people would call a resting bitch face and it wouldn't have meant anything considering her height, but it scared both Atsumu and Oikawa shitless. She just radiates mess with me and you'll regret it vibes. And now that Kise mentioned them, her glare was directed at them and both instinctively stiffened and waited for her to finish inspecting them foot to head. After a few seconds which felt like hours, she gave them a smile that would have looked cute and excited on someone else's face. On hers though, it could only be described as manic. It was terrifying. It's not like she was ugly number. She was actually very pretty. She's also very intimidating. Hi. Oikawa and Atsumu swallowed before replying nervously. Hello. You're Kise's friends, right? They all know that they just met and even if they all got along well, they're not really friends yet. Before they could answer, she continued. You're both really handsome too. Atsumu turned his head to the side to avoid further physical examinations and Oikawa clasped his hands behind his back to subtly cover his butt. Their looks were once something they took pride on. They both know they're pretty, but the constant comparisons to a psychopath, and various flat surfaces, made both of them doubt. You wouldn't mind standing in for some of our models, would you? Their eyes snapped back to the girl, wide and disbelieving. Don't worry if you don't want to continue after this. You can just not, but if you ever feel like continuing after this one shoot, you're welcome to. Granted you actually do good, of course. Before they could say no, because really, modeling would just expose both of them to an even bigger audience and they don't think they can take the criticisms of thousands of people. She already grabbed their wrist and started pulling them. She sent one glare towards Kise's way and he began dragging himself behind them. It must have been a hilarious sight. A girl barely even 5 feet dragging 3 6-feet males. Probably adorable too, since with one step they take, she takes 3. They stopped in a luxurious hotel and before the two could fully process what was happening, she was speaking again. Okay, so our winter theme is cold hearts. Warm bodies, which means you'll be playboy businessmen, because who has colder hearts than businessmen really? Also, they're the ones who can actually afford to be playboys, so here, wear these suits. She pulled a rack of suits from somewhere then continued talking. I'll send stylists your way to make sure the clothes fit you perfectly and so they could put makeup on you. Back to the theme. Basically, you'll be handsome sugar daddies like the ones in chick flicks, not the real life creeps. She finished explaining with a blank face and turned to Kise, who straightened immediately. Kise. Yes ma'am. Take care of them and help them adjust please. She left just as suddenly as she arrived. They still haven't processed the first information and now they were given another. They looked to Kise as he cleared his throat and gave them a sheepish and slightly apologetic but also highly amused smile. I'm sorry. She isn't normally that rude. She's just stressed. If you don't want to do this, just tell me so I could tell her. The two blinked. They slowly looked around the room as the information given to them slowly sunk in. What? She's asking you to stand in for some models. Their eyebrows furrowed in confusion. You want me to model? Yes. But I look like a bee. It was Kise's turn to look confused. Huh? What do you mean you look like a bee? What do bees even look like? No. I meant Berry the bee. You mean that bee from that really weird movie? Atsumu nodded weakly. You don't look like him though. They'd have to distort your face for you to even look like him. In which case, if they distort my face too, I could look like him. Atsumu floundered like a fish. Boobert. I also look like Sangwoo. You mean my psychopathic husbando? What? Nothing. Kise smiled innocently. Anyway, you don't look like him either. Really? Yeah, maybe at first glance you look similar, but you don't look the same at all. Even your blonde hairs are different shades. Oh, yeah. Atsumu looked down with a thoughtful gaze while Kise directed his focus to the silent Oikawa. How about you, That's when they realized that the two still hadn't introduced themselves. Oh, I'm Atsumu, by the way. Miyaachi. Call me Atsumu. Kise blinked because you don't normally let people use your first name, but if that's what Atsumu wanted then okay. Okay Atsumachi. I'm Oikawa Toru. Okay Oikawachi. Do you want to model? At the reminder of what was happening, a worried look bloomed in Oikawa's face again. Are you sure it's fine? Aren't models supposed to have good bodies? I think that depends on what you're modeling on. And you have a good body. No I don't. I'm really thin and flat too. Babe. Oikawachi, you're beautiful. Oikawa was rendered speechless at the honesty of the statement. Then when he realized what was said, he blushed. Atsumu breathed out a laugh. Couldn't have said it better myself. Oikawa looked at Atsumu and they just stared at each other, reassuring each other with their eyes until they both relaxed. As Kise watched them interact, he realized there was something wrong. It wasn't uncommon for people, even pretty ones, to doubt their looks. Still though, he has to wonder, what made two beautiful people like you to doubt yourselves so much? He kept silent though since they only just met. He cleared his throat to get their attention. So will you do it? As their faces slowly morphed with doubt again, Kai said firmly, you'll both do really great. And Mirachi wouldn't have recruited you two if she didn't think so. The two looked at each other again, debating with their eyes before sighing and agreeing. It's only one time after all, and if the two models could be replaced so easily, they might not be that important. In which case, they wouldn't have much exposure. Great. So let me take you to the dressing room. Modeling was surprisingly fun. The staff were nice and they were complimented a lot too. Or maybe that's just their egos talking again. The photoshoot was fun too, especially the group photos. The individual ones were as exciting as it was a pain. It was hard not to feel self-conscious when everybody's attentions were focused on you and they all expect you to be pretty. Thankfully, every time one of them has to do that, the other two would be behind the camera making funny faces. Although it relaxed the one doing the photoshoot, it also made focusing on the task hard. That's probably what made the photoshoot so long. Them laughing a lot even before they could take the pictures. Kise, you did great as usual. You too. The two stiffened, waiting for criticisms. You two did so good. Honestly, you're both naturals. Just please tell me you're going to continue modeling, because it would be such a waste if you don't. The two were a blushing mess as the other staff gushed on how good they were. Kais patted them both on the back to congratulate them. See? Told you you'd be good. The two blushed, happy to be complimented. Come here so we can show you your pictures. The three were directed to their editing room where the computers were connected to a huge television where their photos are being shown. This is where we pick the best photos. Don't worry, they're all good. We just need to pick the best. We'll also give you copies of your photos, both soft and hard copies. Without further ado, let's see your photos. First, Kise Ryota.
Well, ma'am, the lab results came back and this is hard to say, but your son tested highly on our simp scale.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But doctor, what does it even mean to be a simp?
Well, son, allow me to explain.
If you're only being nice cause you wanna lay the pipe, you're a simp. You're a simp, you're a simp when you pay for all the clothes and then she says thank you bro, you're a simp. You're a simp, you're a simp, you're a simp, you're a simp. No, you've never been a pimp, you're a simp. You're a simp, you're a simp, got no game, use a lame, and that's why we ran a train on you, bitch. You're a simp, you're a simp.
Kise, babe, so hot, gorgeous. Another development that happened throughout the shoot was that they got along like a house on fire, and now, they've gained another Sparkles. Bad bitch Sparkles. Thank you. Who's next? You go first, babe, since you're older. Oh. How old are you, Koa? 19. Wait, what? You're in college already? Supposed to be. I'm not enrolled though. Wait. How old are you, Kise? 17. Oikawa and Atsumu looked at Kise with a deadpan expression. They looked him up and down still with that deadpan expression. Then, what? I can't. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Ikora turned around and started to walk away, prompting Kise to grab his arm and shake it. What? What did I do? He looked at Atsumuta for clues only to notice him muttering 17 over and over again like in a trance. How dare you? What? How dare you be taller than us when you're younger? Boobat senpais. Grinning face with starry eyes. Loudly crying face. He called us senpais. Loudly crying face. Our baby. Ikora and Atsumu were hugging one of Kaise's arms as they rubbed their heads on his shoulder like cats. Our baby is taller than us. Ikora wiped a fake tear. They grow up so fast. Kise pouted as Atsumu pat his head like a kid. It's not my fault you're shorter than me. Ikora and Atsumu gasped dramatically while clutching their chests. The disrespect. The audacity. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow. You've been disowned. Gomen senpais. Kise bowed down to make himself smaller as he flashed his puppy dog eyes at the two. Loudly crying face. Forgive me baby. You've been ruined. Atsumu hugged Kise's head while patting it. Kise is crouching so he could reach it by the way. Shh, don't worry baby, we'll protect you. They seem to have forgotten the others in the room who are all watching them in various degrees of amusement and exasperation while filming them. Do you want to see your photos or not? The three blinked from where they're still tangled up together. Oh right. Miri sighed. All I asked was who was next and you end up adopting Kise. She muttered under her breath but the three still heard it. They smiled sheepishly while scratching the back of their necks. Okay, next is Ikora.
No, I won't do your homework just cause you hate math. And I'm not giving you a ride to your big date with Chad. Don't put pussy up on a pedestal cause that shit is lame. And for any guy that does, I've got one thing left to say. You're a simp, you're a simp. No, you've never been a pimp. You're a simp. You're a simp, you're a simp.
You're so pretty Kora babe. So pretty senpai. Thank you Tsumu. And thank you my baby. Wait. Since I was a model first, shouldn't I be the senpai? Okay, up next is Atsumu. Miri interrupted before the three would take another conversation detour.
You're a simp, you're a simp. Got no game, use a lame. And that's why we ran a train on you bitch. You're a simp, you're a simp.
Oh my goodness, doctor. I never knew I could have so many bitches on my dick. You're my hero.
I'm just doing my job, son.
Senpai not senpai. Tsumu babe. So beautiful. Thank you. You're going to continue modeling right? Please say yes. Their smiles both dropped as they fidgeted in anxiousness. They enjoyed modeling. They enjoyed it immensely, but will other enjoy it as well? Can we think about it? Yes, we need to think about it more. Kisse's expression dropped too as he noticed how uncomfortable his friends are. Okakes. Here you guys go. Miri interrupted the awkward atmosphere as she handed both of them an envelope. That's your salary. Ikora and Atsumu looked at her with wide eyes. What? Did you think we wouldn't pay you? That would be illegal. The two scratched their heads. Frankly, they didn't really think about the money so much. They were both too anxious about the possible criticisms to even think about it. That's approximately 37,000 yen. So much. Well, we're a global company so naturally, our rates are high too. It's normally $50 per hour for starters, even less for substitutes, but since I pulled you away and practically given you no choice but to participate, we raised it to $70 per hour and we've taken 5 hours of your time, which would total to $350. That still isn't much compared to Kisses, who's one of our most popular models, but since your photos all came out great, it's worth it. Also, with how great your photos turned out, we might give you a bigger exposure, so if you would give me your contact info, we could work out how to give you your additional fees if ever there will be. Ikora and Atsumu are overwhelmed. They didn't expect for this to happen. In fact, they didn't think it would even be a possibility. They both thought that the only magazines they would appear in would be sports magazines, and if they did appear in other types, it would be when they are already national players. Thank you. Both whispered with voices full of emotion. They could almost cry in happiness. There are still doubts niggling in their minds, but for now, they feel beautiful, worthy. Thank you. The three are at a cafe right now talking about nothing and everything. What sports do you play, Kise? Basketball. You play volleyball, right? Yes. Wait, do you two go to the same school? No. Oh okay. I was confused since you were both setters. Anyway, what do we do now? The shoe store we passed by is still open, right? Well, it's still early, so yeah, I can buy 2 pairs of that shoe now. And then, they remembered how they met in the first place. Oikoa and Kais gasped. The shoe. Atsumu tilted his head in confusion. What shoe? Kisa looked at Atsumu in confusion while Oikoa just looked done. The shoe that you were just talking about? Atsumu still looked confused. The shoe that you wanted to buy for Sakusa. Oh, that shoe. Gasp. The shoe. Oikoa face palmed. Let's go. They entered the store and went straight for the shoes. Thankfully, there will still some left, although it's almost sold out. Is it really okay for all of us to have the same pair of shoes? It's not like we're the only ones who will buy it. Oh right. They are now standing in front of the shop with 2 bags each. Well, 3 for Atsumu since he bought another pair of shoes for Osamu, although his was different from them. Now what do we do? Watch a movie? I don't like the movies they have on the cinema right now. Ugh, same. We could back to the house. We have Netflix. You have a house here? Yeah, it's a vacation home. So, you guys up for it? Sure. What will we watch though? I want horror. Tsumu babe, you're scared of ghosts. I'm scared of ghosts. Me too. ... Let's do it. They all sat on the huge sofa bed, and huddled under the same huge blanket. They watched The Conjuring, and as the movie progresses, they sink further and further into the blanket until they were all just sitting under it, staring at each other in fear, the movie still playing in the background. Babe, switch it off. Babe, I'm scared. I don't wanna see the movie. Where's the remote? I don't know. They fell silent as they heard shuffling outside the house, only to screech and huddled as close as possible when they heard the sound of metal falling. The stray cat outside the house ran when he heard the screams. They all stayed under the blanket, holding each other until they heard the movie finish. They slowly peeked out from under the blanket and sighed in relief when they saw nothing. Kise slowly reached his hand to their now cold pizza and took a bite before asking, "So what do we watch now?" It's 3 in the morning and Oikoa and Atsumu are walking Kise to the hotel he was staying at. He didn't want to bother them, but they insisted. They stopped watching horror movies and ended up binge watching every Home Alone movie ever. They also ate a lot, as in they ordered from almost every fast food restaurant near them, and all the delivery guys rang the doorbell at the same time and gave them amused, shocked and judgmental looks. Which is why they spent a few more hours just sitting on the couch because they were too full to move. Alright, do you want to hang out again tomorrow? Some of my friends are coming here for a few days before we resume training for the Winter Cup. Sure, what time? I dunno. I'll message you. Okay. Don't be mad if I don't answer though. That probably means I'm still sleeping. You mean we? I don't think I want to get up early tomorrow. But it's a beautiful day tomorrow. Ugh, morning people. Ha 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 ha. Kise, just come bang on the door tomorrow if we don't answer our phones. You're serious? Yes. Okay. They stopped in front of the hotel and waved Kise goodbye as he entered. Is it weird that I kinda feel like a parent who's seeing off their child in school? No. I kinda feel like one too. Okay, yeah, maybe it kinda is. Definitely.